I request Doctor, you would like to make a comment on this? As part of our developing country, how well we are prepared.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Very nice presentation, and I feel like point of care is actually required in developing countries, underdeveloped countries, and we are also working on ways how we can have mass screening done in chromatography methods for probably for liver function or a routine biochemical parameters which can at least be as a basic parameter for screening. We are also working on that. And I think point of care, as sir has rightfully suggested, would be very important, and maintaining quality in that I think would be a challenge. And that's what I was also thinking of right now. Thank you, sir.
See, I have few comments to make here with reference to the point of care testing. Whatever Dr. Suresh has elaborated is as per the requirement of our standard, and all point of care testing as on today all over the world, they are called waived tests. They also very clearly CLSI guidelines says it's a waived test, which means there is no need for any proficiency testing program in which laboratories has to participate. That is number one. The second thing, this point of care testing is not a test to be just conducted and taking the readings and the data. Though the turnaround time for a particular test is brought down to almost couple of minutes, within 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I will not say 0, it's not possible. Even our glucometer says 7 seconds, 6 seconds. Lead care says 3 minutes. Therefore, all these handheld point of care testing machines, they also have certain turnaround time. These turnaround times are invariably below 5 minutes. Why? What is the importance of this reducing turnaround time is for immediate treatment to be given to the patient. It's for continual monitoring of the patient treatment protocol. Now I am saying treatment protocol. Why this POCT is to see that particular measurand or analyte is at high unacceptable level. It has to be brought down immediately as it is a threat to the patient. One of the recent advances in clinical chemistry says for all organ transplants, in order to look at the immunocompatibility loss, there is a treatment with certain drugs. Those drugs will have to be maintained at the highest optimal concentration all through. If the concentration comes down, there is a threat to the system. In order to maintain the optimal concentration of cyclosporin, immediately it should be monitored. Now, in order to do that, this point of care testing has come in two different methodology. One is an external point of care testing, another is an internal point of care testing. The external point of care testing is what was described by Dr. Suresh beautifully. Now, this internal point of care testing is, there is a cannula which has come, which will be inserted into the vein. It's a glucose cannula. We have the first trial, which was done in Peru by those who were chewing coca. They were saying that it gives us energy immediately. A study was done wherein I was part of the team. This paper got published in Lancet. They insert a cannula. That cannula is in constant contact with the circulating blood. When they are chewing coca, the circulating blood, whether the glucose level goes up, this is what they wanted to study. And this cannula has 3 tubes, one inside the other, all micro, with all the required reagents. all the communication system to transmit the data to an external device. And this, when he talked about sterilization of the components of the POCT, this is with respect to the internally introduced or inserted cannula. Now, I always give an example of a patient with an organ transplant who has to monitor continuously the drug level, has also the information which comes to another device which is around his waist, which pumps that drug when the level comes down. Therefore, there's a combination of a mini laboratory and a mini pharmacy in an individual, which means point of care testing along with point of treatment. On the spot treatment is there. We know that it's very common. Diabetic patients have insulin pump, they have a cannula, measures the sugar, measures the insulin level, it pumps the insulin. Similarly, now this point of care testing has gone to analyze urine, other body fluids, and one of them is, we always think laboratory is the heart of any healthcare system where evidence is generated for helping the clinicians to treat the patient. Therefore, it is the heart of the entire healthcare system. The laboratory we call central diagnostic units. Now, laboratory has tentacles. We have laboratories in each ward, each floor, in different sections of the specialized areas. The laboratory tests which are conducted in cardiology are different from neurology. Therefore, laboratories which are in different areas. Now, there are also these portable laboratories, small miniature portable laboratories. These are POCT. And in addition to that, there are walking laboratories. The people carry laboratory which are part of their body, and now there's a microchips have come which are inserted, and that microchip sends with the body electricity sends the signal to an external device about the several parameters of the body, including the hormones. When you look at the technology taking over the responsibilities of what we call biochemists or pathologists today, it will be biomedical engineers. We call them clinical engineers. Clinical engineers have stepped into a laboratory medicine wherein they understand the clinical condition, understand the physiological parameters, and develop some of these technologies. This is the future will be a biochip inserted. That inserted biochip keeps on monitoring, storing, and communicating to an external device with which there will be a quick, immediate response for continual health care. This is what is happening. This is the outcome. I may not be alive to see all this, but some of you youngsters will see tremendous change in the laboratory medicine, and ultimately the responsibility of interpretation of any such data depends upon the wisdom of individuals. That again comes back to laboratory medicine.
Thank you, Venkatesh, for your intellectual comments. Now I request the chair. Any other questions, please? Yeah. Please come forward here.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh, for a very nice presentation, and Dr. Venkatesh for clarification. I just have one doubt, like if we want to include these POCTs into the NABL scope, who will be the authorized signatories for that? What does the NABL say about it? Because we are not directly looking at the results, we are just believing somebody.
As on today, whatever NABL 112 says in India, they will continue to be authorized signatories. Now, the question is, POCT somewhere in some ward, in ICU, CCU, etc. Authorized signatory cannot go and sign every report. This is a practical problem. Under such circumstances, the reports are generated. However, in the cumulative report, ultimate responsibility is that of the authorized signatory if something goes wrong. In other countries, like in UAE, for example, there are two types of laboratories, unlike small, medium, large in India. There are only two types. One is routine testing laboratory, another is called specialized laboratory. In the routine testing laboratory, technologists are permitted to sign. In the specialized testing, where only those who are competent, qualified, as per their regional requirement, are permitted to sign. As I told you, point of care testing, most of them are understood by the treating clinician, doesn't require interpretation.
Sir, in recent one of the CME program which I attended in Bombay, in Kokilaben Hospital, they were mentioning IQCP for POCT has to be done. So somebody can elaborate on this. IQCP, individualized.
Yeah, actually in our hospital there was a debate between the emergency medicine specialist, and we kept the debate, and the lab, one of the lab director. So then he mentioned for glucometer, we have around 160 glucometer in the hospital, and ABG and some others, troponin, high sensitive troponin and all. So emergency medicine specialist said that, that should be under the control of the emergency medicine, and he has taken the responsibility of authorized signatory for that. And the lab director said we should have the IQCP, for glucometer it says we should have the quality. You also mentioned the quality control plan should be there. When we have gone for JCI, we realized it was under the control of the clinicians, the glucometer and other POCT device. But then it came, when non-compliance came, the non-compliance, JCI non-compliance came to us, laboratory. So then we have to take the responsibility of the POCT, all the POCT in the hospital, glucometer and all the POCT, and then we have to make our individual IQCP or individualized quality control plan for all the POCT devices in the hospital. For glucometer,